Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your main theme for 2026 reading. I am going to do a set of deeper 2026 readings, but this reading is going to be focused just on one main theme. You have this Aries card. It says, take the lead. It says, don't wait for others to light the way. It's time to step up and take the lead. You have this Delicate Rose. It says, be willing to honestly say what you feel, no matter how terrifying it may seem. Kind of makes sense, Cancer. Like if you asked me before I started this reading, like what I thought your main theme would be for 2026, it would be to do what is hard, basically. And again, I know that sounds scary, but really it isn't, because usually the hard things in life lead to something good. And it's not like hard as in you're going to be struggling. It's hard as in, maybe you have to put the work in to whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish or whatever you're trying to do. So, again, it's not like a bad hard, it's a good hard, because, it's going to lead to success. It's going to lead to, growth and, something really, really good in your life. Intuitively, I kind of feel like you're rebuilding something here, Cancer. It's almost like a second chance, but not really. But the reason I say that is because your first card is the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups, this is your how you enter into the reading. We're doing a Celtic cross for these readings. Again, my intention for these readings is that the first card would be your main theme for 2026. And so Three of Cups can represent other people, of course. It can be reunions. It can be celebrating with people. It can be celebrating a harvest as well. But sometimes I think the Three of Cups can be kind of like a second chance in a way. And again, I don't want you to think I'm saying that this is a second chance. I feel it's more like a rebuilding energy is what I feel the theme for 2026 will be for you. Like you're trying something again, or you're relaunching a project or something along those lines. And in that way, I guess it could be a reunion, but you're like reuniting with an idea that you have in life. And I would definitely take the lead on that for sure. I would also say that, we're just going to jump to it. Your crossing energy, which can be what hurts you or helps you, is the Seven of Cups. I kind of feel that maybe this is a little bit of both, hurt and help, because I feel if you have too many options, obviously that could be hurting you. But I also feel the Seven of Cups is encouraging you to simplify in 2026, the whole entire year, not just like the beginning or something like that. Seven of Cups, he's dreaming of all these cups. There are good things and bad things in these cups. But really, he needs to just like find out what's going to happen if he puts the work in. You also have the Ten of Wands right next to it. And so putting that all together, I think simplification or simplifying a dream that you have would be a very good idea. And the dream could be like an accomplishment or something that you're hoping and wishing for. Again, I'm going to say it probably to all three water signs that we have this magic triangle in the astrology, which I've talked to you about before, between Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus in the astrology. And it's definitely affecting water signs. Even though Neptune is moving from Pisces to Aries, doesn't really matter. It kind of started in with that Neptune, Saturn, and Pisces energy kind of. And that magic triangle is all about making your dreams real. And again, even though Neptune and Saturn will move into Aries, and Uranus is going to move back into Gemini, and we have Pluto in Aquarius, doesn't really matter. I think that it's going to affect you on a dream level, and it can be hard to accomplish a dream. So I think the theme of your reading is to put in that work to do something that could be a little bit of a challenge, and to take the lead with that Aries card. And I think that's going to be important. I also think it's interesting. You have this card. It says the Delicate Rose says, be honest, be willing to honestly say what you feel, no matter how terrifying it may seem. There is like something going on, I think, for water signs in 2026 where they should be speaking up and saying those things that they're afraid to say. And that could also be part of the Seven of Cups, because it's like if I say this thing to my friends or to my family or to people in my life that I want to do something different, will they leave me? Are they going to hate me? All those questions are popping into my head. Next, in the area of what's in your head, this is what's on your mind or what you're thinking about. You have the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups could be love, of course. So, love can be hard to do, right? Not necessarily in a bad way, but, it can require work and things like that. But Knight of Cups could be love. I also think the Knight of Cups is very dreamy, right? He has this water flowing in front of him. He's standing in the desert. And so the whole point of the Knight of Cups is that, he is standing in the desert where basically nothing can grow. But if he plants seeds in front of that water, they will grow because there's water. I'm pretty sure I've said that exact message to you before. 2025, which we are still in if you're watching this before 2026, obviously, is definitely a year where I feel people feel like they don't have the resources that they need. You have the Queen of Pentacles in the area of your future feelings, which is great, but Queen of Pentacles is resources. So I feel for a long time, maybe you feel like you haven't had what you need to be able to do what you want to do. And the Knight of Cups says, well, it might feel that way, but you actually do. Even if you don't realize it, you do have the resources. And you just have to take that first step of, doing something. Next in your foundation, you have the Three of Pentacles. Again, I was getting this like rebuilding energy, Three of Cups, Three of Pentacles showing up here. He already has built something. Maybe you have already built something, but one thing I'll tell you, Cancer, is he has these Three Pentacles here in this, so it forms a fire triangle, and we have this water triangle right here. The water triangle is kind of just, it represents the fact that he added something just a little bit extra special to the project. He added a little bit of his own unique energy or unique flair to the project that he's working on. And again, you have this card that says, be willing to honestly say what you feel. That could include, if you're working on any projects, making them unique to you. It's like, if we're unique, we're going to stand out more, which opens us up to criticism, right? And I kind of get the feeling that that is what you need to face in 2026 is, the risk of criticism, the risk of, standing out, basically, and people saying something about what you're doing, the risk of people calling you names or, whatever the case may be. And again, this fits in very well with the astrology. I think just in general, as a collective vibe, Pluto and Aquarius, that's the risk we have to take. Also, Neptune moving into Aries at the end of January. Neptune in Aries is like people looking for a savior. We will see people looking for a person who has all the answers, but no one has all the answers. And Neptune in Aries, I think, is trying to get people to have their own answers to things that are going on. But kind of like the problem with it is that I believe people are going to, form up more into, like tribes, basically, or cults, more or less. And, we could see a lot more of that behavior. And again, people kind of like just becoming part of a hive mind. And that's what we have to resist right now is, becoming part of a hive mind where everybody is the same or nobody has their own unique way of presenting things. And so, again, you have to, I kind of think that is the theme of the reading is that you have to do what is hard. And, that is a hard, opening up to potential criticism is a hard thing to do, but I know you can do it, Cancer. Next, in the area of your past, this is the energy you're moving past at this time. You have this meditate and contemplate card, and this emotions are running high, so probably moving past the overthinking, Seven of Cups, Knight of Cups, in the area of what's on your mind, and which is good. It's like maybe you've done enough processing or enough planning and thinking about what to do or, what steps to take, and now you're finally getting away from that energy, and you are going to take the steps. We're entering into a very emotional time. As I've said before, Uranus and Gemini is good, but I think it's going to be a little bit tricky at the same time. Uranus loves Gemini, but it is, a very rebellious energy. And so we will see people trying to make us emotional. We will see people trying to play on our emotions. We're already seeing it, right? We will see people making emotional decisions, things like that. And so we have to explore our own emotions and process them and use them constructively so we don't get swept up in emotional things, right? In the past, you also have the Ace of Pentacles, which is like a big opportunity. Again, probably what you are rebuilding. It's almost like you have two themes here going on. It's like one is rebuilding, but they're kind of related, is what I feel here, Cancer, for 2026. Again, one theme is do what is hard. The other theme is going to be to rebuild and simplify what you're building, but also add your own unique flair. But they're, like I said, they're kind of related, I feel, to the same thing. The Ace of Pentacles is like a big opportunity that you have to nurture into existence. I kind of have a feeling that a lot of people in this set of readings are going to get the Ace of Pentacles because of Neptune and Aries and Saturn and Aries. You know, Saturn and Aries especially wants us to like pick one thing and finish it, which is, you know, and it's just an obvious theme. Maybe I'll do a separate reading for the collective about all the obvious themes of 2026, but because again, I think one of the obvious things that everybody has to do is pick one thing and finish it. And also, like, how we nurture something is going to make it more successful. Ace of Pentacles is a garden. You know, the better you take care of it, the better the results you're going to get. So we have to nurture these opportunities. But, you know, even though it's showing up in a past position, I kind of feel the card itself is saying you're going to be revisiting something that you are going to rebuild. And it could be anything. Next, in the area of your very near future, you have this exchange gifts card and this chop wood card. Like I said, very busy year for you probably here, Cancer. The chop wood card is about just like getting to work on something. I think you're creating your own gifts. You know, I feel like I said this to you before. It's funny that you have this Aries card because, you know, one thing I will say is that what I have been saying to Aries is that, and this will make sense to you. So yes, I understand some of you get upset and cranky when I talk about another sign, but it's important, right? So get over yourself if you are, number one. Number two, what I would say is that I've been saying to them that they have to manifest from within themselves. They have to, you know, it's like sometimes I think we try to manifest something externally, like we say, I want a Ferrari or I want a Lamborghini or something like that, right? That's external. But inside of that, there's something deeper. It's like, if you want a Lamborghini, is it really the Lamborghini you want? Or is it you want a girlfriend or a boyfriend or money, right? Is there a deeper desire? And so I would be going deeper with that exchange gifts card and say, you know, by accomplishing X, like, what is the Y that I really want here? It's not the thing. There's something deeper, right? And it's almost like you're being given the opportunity to create your own gifts by understanding that, and you'll actually attract what you want instead of something physical. You could still attract the physical thing as well, but, you know, I feel going that one step deeper would be very important for you. You have the Ten of Wands also in the very near future. Again, I think you are working hard, but is this a bad thing? No, I don't think this is bad at all for you, Cancer. It's like, yeah, I mean, you know, maybe the first few months or something of the year, you're feeling like you're having to put a lot of work into something. But, you know, again, this has the feelings of building something for the future. You know, again, I think hard work is only bad if you're not getting a result and if you're doing it forever. And so if you're like always just grinding and always exhausted, you're going to burn out pretty quickly. But I think it's perfectly fine to work extra hard for a few months to build something that could support you for a lifetime, right? Like, there really isn't a problem with that. Even like a year or 2 years, right, of hard work isn't that big of a deal if it's, you know, supporting you, or if it's going to create something that's going to support you for the long haul, right? And so, you know, it just kind of gives me the feelings of you maybe sacrificing a little bit of extra time or something like that at the beginning of the year to rebuild something. You know, the other thing is that it might not actually be that much hard work, but it might feel like it because obviously, you know, if you're rebuilding something or if you're adding your own, you know, uniqueness to a project, it could feel like you're having to redo something, but at the same time, you're making it better. It's like an enhancement. Maybe that's a good word to use here, Cancer. You're enhancing something that you've been building for a long time. But he is very close to achieving his goal. His home is right there. So he's about to have a harvest. And, you know, this could be a harvest for you here, Cancer. Next, in your outcome row, you have this travel card. It says, embarking on a journey could be your path to wealth as abundant opportunities await you in the world. There you go. You have this leader. It says, as a born leader, you can truly bring out the best in others by guiding them and inspiring them. I think I've been saying to you that it's like a time for you to boss up. I'm pretty sure in the last reading I did for you, you had the Emperor, and I was talking about how you always get the Emperor, Cancer, and, you know, that energy is going to have you bossing up, really. And you have that Aries card that says, take the lead. So definitely very important for you, Cancer, to be taking the lead or to be putting yourself out in a leadership role, or to be, you know, kind of being a guiding light for people at this time. Probably by being unique would be important. Next, in the area of the next few months, you have the Queen of Wands. I feel pretty good about this. I feel like you feel very like zesty to me here, Cancer. Oh, like the first few months of the year, at least, maybe a little bit longer. You could be feeling very fiery, very very Aries. Like you could be really embracing that energy of Aries, right? That doesn't mean obviously, yes, I understand that you're not an Aries, but we can work with different energies if we choose, right? So, I think working with that, being a go-getter, taking the lead, starting something and finishing it, very important. All that could be happening for you. I think that it's also going to be very important for you to follow your own desires, not the crowd, right? She has this sunflower right here, and that sunflower points towards the sun. She has this black cat. The black cat, during the times of tarot, was considered very unlucky. The whole point of the cat is she just likes a cat. So she doesn't let people tell her, like, oh, you shouldn't have that cat, it's unlucky. She doesn't give two you-know-whats about it. So, I feel like embracing that attitude would be very good for you, Cancer, because, again, you're probably going to have people that are like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And you don't even need to answer, right? It's not their life. Tell them to go mind their own business, right? And that's exactly what she would do. She's also the card of learning as you go. And if you're rebuilding something, I feel like what you're learning the power of is simplification and just doing things the simple way, right? That doesn't mean that it's not going to require hard work, but sometimes it's like we can start something, we overcomplicate it when we should have just done it the easy way, and that's the feeling I get on her. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Justice card. It's kind of like another thing that I think I'm going to see a lot in 2026 is kind of balancing of relationships and connections. We're kind of in a time where it's going to be impossible for people to wear a mask. People are going to be showing their true colors. I think they already are. We can see this in the world, for example. And so, I don't know. I just think people are going to be balancing their connections. And, it's like there's some people where you're like, oh, this person really is who they say they are, so they can stay in my life. Then there will be other people that aren't, right? And so I would just pay attention to that. The Justice card is about having a neutral approach. The Justice card is weighing up the options. The Justice person is kind of looking at the evidence, right? And so this goes for all connections, not just love. This is every single type of connection in your life where you kind of look at the evidence and you say, oh, this person, the evidence proves that they're a good person. With Saturn and Aries especially, we should be looking at actions, of course, right? So if a person says something, do they do it? If the answer is yes, great, good person. If they don't and they have a habit of doing that, then not. It's like not everyone is going to do everything they say. So if a person doesn't do like one or two things, big deal, right? But if they have a habit of not doing things they say, then I would be careful of that type of energy for sure. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Queen of Pentacles, which I love based off of, all the cards really that are showing up here, but definitely the Knight of Cups, because so I feel like the Knight of Cups needs resources to be able to do what he's trying to do. And the Queen of Pentacles, of course, is resources, so it is like you are getting the resources necessary to do what you're trying to do in life, which is great. I feel like this could be leading to a lot more abundance and success for you here, Cancer. And, just like a feeling of that you have the things you need, which again is going to be important. Again, one of the main messages for 2026 is like simplification. We have this rabbit right here. The rabbit can be fears, anxiety, can represent fertility and abundance, but can also represent multiplication. And multiplication was one of my favorite words in 2025. That'll probably continue until at least 2028, where I think we should really be focusing on doing more of what multiplies. And we all have certain activities, certain things we do during the day that produce a better result. And I would just be identifying what those things are and then doing those things more. I know it sounds simple, but it is. You have the Page of Wands as your outcome, and you had this card that said travel. It says embarking on a journey could be your path to wealth as abundant opportunities await you in the world. The Page of Wands, he's just down to clown, right? He's just down to go on an adventure and see where it takes him. And he practices non-attachment. He doesn't attach a need for an outcome. He just kind of sees what happens. And I feel like that would be very powerful for you, especially if you're getting opportunities this year to travel, to make moves, anything like that. Again, you don't even necessarily have to travel. You might just be getting opportunities to make a move in your life, which could be anything. And, I would. With the 3 of Cups and the 7 of Cups, you have the 5 of Cups. Yeah, the fear of disappointment, basically the fear of being disappointed is what, this might be like a third thing that you need to pay attention to in 2026. I think it all ties together. So again, the intention of these readings was to have one main theme, but I think these are all themes that are kind of working together that all do have to do with one thing that you're working on. And I feel like you could be fearing that you're going to be disappointed if you redo something or if you rebuild something. But the 5 of Cups is saying like, no, not if you do it differently, right? He needs to turn around, see these 2 cups, this bridge and this castle. So that's what I would focus on. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Empress. Again, we're going to do some deeper love readings, or deeper 2026 readings where maybe love will come up, but, this could be love. Some of you could be thinking about forming a connection with a person. Empress would say this person finds you attractive, Cancer, so there you go. I definitely feel you're thinking about abundance. It seems to me like there are things you need as well. Knight of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. It's like it's clear to me that there's some sort of resource that you need, but the Empress is a lot of abundance, so it seems to me like you are getting what you need. With the 3 of Pentacles, you have the 6 of Cups. Again, I said rebuilding something. 6 of Cups can be thinking about the past. It's pretty obvious to me with that 3 of Cups that it was talking about like a reunion with something, but it's like you are reuniting with an idea, or, you are reuniting with something that you're going to be working on. And, again, I think this is going to be good. With the Page of Wands at the end here, Cancer, I would make sure that you're taking like a childlike approach, more playful, lighthearted, non-attachment to outcome type of approach to whatever you're creating. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, I think 2025 was very slow for everyone. I think you're just thinking about the slowness of the year of 2025, and I feel you're just wanting to make more progress in 2026. I don't really feel much. With the 10 of Wands, you have the 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords can be heartbreak or sadness, but it is a good time for healing. Again, we have that magic triangle until like 2028 that is definitely going to be affecting water signs. So what I would say there is I would take advantage of that energy and I would heal. With the 3 of Swords, we just have to forgive the past. 10 of Wands could be also you kind of beating yourself up with the 3 of Swords here, for making things too overcomplicated. 7 of Cups, 10 of Wands, right? That is definite overcomplication energy. And this basically says, forgive yourself for overcomplicating things. It's not that bad. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Chariot. Yes, you setting yourself apart. You always get the Chariot, your card. You're the only sign that always gets their Major Arcana card, right? And you get it the most. And what I would say is, like I said on the Queen of Wands, he is setting himself apart from the city behind him, and he is moving in his own unique direction, which definitely is going to be a big theme for you. And he's having a victory because of it, so, definitely going to lead to victories. With the Justice card, you have the 4 of Swords. It's like I kind of feel like you need to stop hoping and praying. For those of you that want love, I feel like you need to do more about it. And I'm not calling you out. I totally get it, Cancer. But, it's like he's hoping and praying. And, he's hoping and praying for a blessing. There's a person blessing another person right here. And he could easily go get that blessing. So I feel like you need to go get your blessings in, relationships. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the 6 of Swords finally moving forward. Like I said, I don't really normally like to say this because I think people should just get started because of the astrology we have right now. Having said that, it seems to me like you are going to be getting some sort of resource that you need. It could be money if you're trying to, start a project or work on something. It could be any type of resource. With the Page of Wands, you have the 5 of Swords. Yeah, probably the hardest thing that you have to do this year is, potentially walk away from some people. That doesn't mean, I don't think this means that you're, like, completely cutting people out of your life. But, it's like if you're moving in a direction that other people don't agree with, you might not be able to spend as much time, or maybe you're not going to see them as much as you normally do, or, something like that. It seems to me like you're making a hard decision, like I said at the beginning of the reading. And, the decision could be to move, for example, or it could be to leave a job where you have a bunch of friends or something like that. And again, I think that, ultimately, you are going to win, basically. So, that's all that matters, right, Cancer? Let's see. You have this discrimination card. This is a card of being able to tell the difference between what's right and what's wrong for you. And I feel you have learned a lot of lessons about that with the justice card showing up in this reading. And I would just trust your feelings about people and situations. You have this publicity card. 3 of Pentacles wants you to get attention for the work that you're doing. So I would be trying to get as much attention as you possibly can on the things that you're creating that will help you the most here, Cancer. You have this lust card. Could be a very passionate connection coming in for you. Again, these readings aren't really meant to be love readings, but Knight of Cups, Empress is pretty good, and definitely could be a strong connection. The other thing I would say is with the Queen of Wands, that, in that lust card, Queen of Wands is a card of seduction. Queen of Wands can be something that is seducing us, like an idea, a business idea, a goal that we want to accomplish. And so you could be moving towards something that you're very passionate about. You have this secrets card. I think you need to learn more secrets. These aren't like secrets as in people have a secret. I feel like this is hidden knowledge that you need to learn. So if you're working on anything, learning the ins and outs of the projects and the things that you're working on is also going to be important this year. And finally, you have this eccentricity year. Yes, Pisces also have this card. I think a lot of people will probably get this card in 2026 because of Uranus and Gemini. Very eccentric energy. Uranus and Gemini rewards eccentric energy as well. Going against the grain, being willing to be a rebel, standing out, things like that. So definitely a very good energy to work with. But this looks really good, Cancer. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your year.